Hello viewers and all of my buddies on the internets, my name is Will and welcome to the CreepyPasta mod. And happy Halloween everybody! So I decided that I was going to review this mod that was pretty dang scary for Halloween. And this has been around for a while. I know it's been out for like a month or so now, but I decided that when would be a better time to do it than now. So this right here is my little computer. This is the crafting recipe to make it. And when you put paper into the computer, it will start loading up some stuff, and it'll give you a creepypasta archive, which is the same thing as a spawn egg. So, I also have not planned much for this. I just thought it would be kind of interesting to see what I could do on the fly, since I kind of don't like to admit it, but creepypastas are my guilty pleasure. I don't know what it is. I just love them. So, we're just gonna put all of these in here, and we're gonna go in a random order. I tried setting up for it, but it just, I don't know, this felt better. So without further ado, let's see what the first mob is. Squidward suicide. Alright, so this is a very famous creepypasta that I actually don't like that much. It is not my favorite. So yeah, I know. Let's see. Well, when we can spawn this in, and look, it's just Squidward. So the story of Squidward's suicide goes like this. There's this guy, and he works at Nickelodeon Studios, and it kind of explains the reason that SpongeBob was kind of off the air for longer than usual in between seasons 3 and 4. It's because something happened with one of the tapes. So this guy worked at Nickelodeon, and I don't remember what his job was, but I know that he got to view all the new episodes of SpongeBob about a month or so before they were actually released. And one day, the name of the new episode was called Squidward's Suicide, and they thought that it was just the editor playing a little joke on them, which it wasn't exactly what happened. Well, I don't want to tell you the entire story, because, well, I probably could recite it all the way, but I don't have a creepy enough voice. Or do I? I don't know. I don't think I do. But I don't have a lot of time. Actually, I have all the time in the world, but still. Anyway, the way the story goes is, it starts off as a normal episode of SpongeBob. Squidward is playing his clarinet, and SpongeBob comes happily walking by his house and shouts up to him, and they ask Squidward if he wants to come play. Then Squidward gets mad and yells at him to go away and stuff. And then, oh, well, Squidward is rehearsing for his big performance, for his big clarinet recital that night. And, let's see. Well, that night at the clarinet recital, Squidward messes up, and he just doesn't do very well. And the weird part about that is, it's a kids' cartoon. It's supposed to be very friendly, but this episode was different. See, Squidward was getting booed. It wasn't the normal SpongeBob booing, like, that one fish that goes, "Boo, you stink!" That guy, you know him. It was different. It was like serious booing, and it went on for several minutes, which was weird for an episode of a kids show. So the booing went on. One thing to note is that everyone in the episode had very realistic looking eyes, human looking eyes. And well, let's see. The weirdest part about this part of the episode was that there was no background noise other than, the booing. Normally, in SpongeBob, if someone's booing, or if SpongeBob's getting booed, like whenever he was a stand-up comic and people were booing him, it at least had that kind of sad little song. Not sad, but like the song that plays when SpongeBob's in a bad mood. You know the one. You know the one. If you're a SpongeBob fan. But it was none of that this time. It was just silence and then booing, and then it cut to a scene of Squidward at his home, on his bed, crying, just sobbing, just still completely silent other than the sound of him sobbing. His eyes were still so incredibly realistic. It wasn't like a normal episode of SpongeBob. It went on for a minute or so of Squidward just crying there in the silence. Then that's when the most disturbing thing happened. For about less than a split second, even. I don't know what you would call it. The screen kind of flashed a bit. So the guy telling the story and his I don't it wouldn't be his boss, it would be kind of like the guy in charge of watching the videos altogether. He decided to rewind the tape and see what the flash was. They went back and it was a single frame of a child laying laying on the ground with his stomach split open, his left eye gouged out, and his guts spilling everywhere. And there was a shadow of a man over the guy, over the little kid who couldn't have been 6 or 7 years old, just with his organs spilled out all over the concrete. Well, everyone who was in the room watching, most people got incredibly scared or offended. One girl threw up. Some people left the room right there saying that they didn't want any part of this sick joke. But the rest of them, including the narrator, the boss, and a few other brave souls, decided to continue watching. It went on for another couple minutes of Squidward, wow, just crying in silence. And then it happened again. Another single frame picture, this time it was a little girl, dead on the concrete with her organs spilling out and the shadow of the man over her. That's when someone pointed out something really creepy, the fact that it wasn't a crime scene investigation or anything. It was the man casting the shadow who would have been taking the picture wasn't a police officer investigating a crime or anything. There was no scene of that. It was as if the person taking the picture was the killer himself. And that got them thinking something weird about the editor was going on. Maybe, he murdered children and stuff. So, let's see. Everyone was really offended and stuff. More people threw up. The guy in charge, I still wouldn't know what to call him. I'll just start calling him the boss. The boss decided to call Steven Hillenburg, which is the creator of SpongeBob. If you watch the opening credits of this show, you'll actually see his name. So he comes down to the office, and then they all watch the rest of the video. Let's see. It goes on for another minute of Squidward just crying in silence with his incredibly realistic human eyes. And then, suddenly, just out of nowhere, Squidward pulls out a shotgun and sticks it in his mouth and blows his brain out. And brain matter, very realistic looking blood and gore splatter all over the room. And then, pitch black. Dead silence. That's it. Squidward suicide. And when we right click the Squidward mob, he kills himself. Kind of an interesting story.